So you'll hear this argument from some conservatives, but mainly anarcho-capitalists, also known as ANCAPs, and libertarians. The argument that taxation is theft, and oh boy, do I wish that ANCAPs and libertarians would try moving to Somalia for a bit.
Yes, statists actually believe that Somalia is a good example of anarchism, even though that anarchism means zero government, and Somalia has 17 different factions fighting for power. That's 17 governments. Most countries only have one government, but Somalia has 17, and they think that's a good example of zero government. What are they thinking? That's not a good example of anarchism. That's the furthest thing from anarchism. That's ultra-statism is what that is.
But I'm here to talk about why taxation is not theft. So first of all, without the state, you have no property rights. There is no such thing as property rights. The state creates these property rights, and this is something that libertarians often stumble on. You ask them, hey, how would there be property rights without the government? And they have no answer, and they often stutter very much because they can't explain this.
Because it's not an argument. It makes no goddamn sense. You can't just state something and then just pretend that it's true. You got to explain how it's true. How does not having government prevent property rights? Is it magic? What makes that happen? Nothing makes that happen. Property rights is a community of people coming together and deciding, yeah, we want property, and if somebody tries to steal our property, we're going to shoot them. You don't need government in that process. A group of people could come to that decision without government, so government is therefore not needed.
So the state provides the landscape of property rights and everything in it, which means that everything that you do, you are including the state. So when you sign a contract with your employer or your employee or whoever, everything is attached to the state because the state creates the whole landscape of property rights and everything that goes on in the state.
Basically, all you're saying is, government does property rights today, so therefore they must be the only ones who do it.
Now, also, you are receiving things in return. It is not theft if you are receiving things in return. You are funding the police department, the fire department, the military defense, social welfare, all kinds of different infrastructure, all kinds of different things. Public roads, you can't tell me you don't use public roads. You can't tell me you didn't call the police, the firefighters. The military defense is something that you can't even choose to do. That's something that defends the country from, obviously being taken over.
Okay, everybody knows that the United States of America is war happy. What if you don't want to pay for that? What if you don't want to pay for droning brown children overseas? What if you don't want to pay for that? Well, you got a gun in your face and you basically have to pay for it. What if you don't want to pay for welfare? Well, guess what? You got a gun in your face and you basically have to pay for it. What if you don't want to pay for the drug war, which kills more people than drugs itself? Well, basically you have a gun in your face and you have to pay for it. The government is literally taking your money and spending it on stuff that you hate. Tell me how that's not theft. And tell me how that's not the same as a thug stealing your money and spending it on something that you don't want and something that you hate. It's the same thing. And you may say, oh, well, you were going to buy public servants anyways, like police. Well, under capitalism, under the private sector, I would have been able to choose which private security protected me, right? I would have chose the ones that are rated the best, that are reviewed the best. But no, I got to choose the state. The state's like, no, you got to do business with us. You got to take our freaking public servants. I don't want your public servants. I want the private sector's public servants because there's competition and they're better. So don't sit there and act like the government's just buying something I would have bought anyways. No, I wouldn't buy from them. I wouldn't buy the government's public servants. I would buy the private sector's public servants where I would get better service. So don't act like my money would automatically go to the places it's going because they would go somewhere completely different. You put it all together and suddenly all the money that the government takes is stolen.
Now, also, another thing is you don't have to pay taxes. You can move to another country. Now, if you've been in the country and you've received all those goods that the government has given you, then yes, you have to pay taxes or you're going to have to get a punishment because otherwise people wouldn't pay taxes.
People wouldn't pay taxes. I wonder why. Maybe because people want to spend their money the way that they want to spend it. And they don't want government and the rest of society to determine how their money is spent. That's just ridiculous.
So you don't have to pay them. You don't want to pay them? Go ahead, move to another country. Just go ahead, move to another country. Maybe I suggest a libertarian, utopia, Somalia. Go ahead, move there, check it out, see how it is. Let me know how it goes for you.
Somalia is the result of government failure. Somalia is a government that crashed and crumbled. How is that a representation of a society that's built from the ground up to be capitalist 100% through and through? It's not.
But the idea that taxation is theft is utterly laughable and honestly quite sad.
Alright, boys and girls, if you like this video, remember to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. Catch you on the next episode.